The Mongol who conquered the world, Genghis Khan, from a boy betrayed by his tribe and left to die on the frozen steppes, to a man who united warring nations under one banner. He was not born a king, he became one. This is the story of Temüjin, the child who became Genghis Khan, the man who reshaped history through discipline, vision, and willpower stronger than steel. In the vast emptiness of the Mongolian steppe, the wind ruled everything. It howled through the grasslands, carrying with it the scent of snow, blood, and smoke. In this world of endless horizons, where survival depended on strength and loyalty, a boy named Temüjin was born around the year 1162. His father, Yasuge, was a minor tribal chief, a man of ambition who sought to unite the scattered Mongol clans under his banner. But the steppes were a ruthless place. Alliances shifted like the wind, and power was measured not by birthright, but by the number of horses and warriors one commanded. When Temüjin was 9, his father arranged a marriage for him with the daughter of a neighboring clan. As was custom, the boy stayed with her family to learn their ways. But fate struck quickly on his journey home. His father was poisoned by rivals. Without their leader, Yasuge's tribe fell apart, his men deserted, his family was abandoned, and the young Temüjin, his mother and his siblings, were left alone on the harsh plains. Winter came. Hunger followed. The boy learned early that mercy was a rare luxury. His mother taught him how to dig roots from frozen ground, how to catch small animals, how to keep the family alive. When food was scarce, they boiled bones for soup. His childhood was not one of play or learning, it was one of survival. Among his brothers, tensions grew. When one of them stole food, Temüjin killed him, his first act of leadership, brutal and decisive. He understood that weakness could mean death. For years, the abandoned family lived as outcasts. Temüjin was captured by enemies, enslaved and made to wear a wooden collar around his neck. But even in chains, he watched, listened, planned. One night when the guards slept, he escaped into the darkness, helped by a sympathetic family from another tribe. It was his first taste of freedom and his first victory. That boy, hardened by cold and betrayal, began to see the truth of the steppe. Strength alone could not rule it. The Mongols were fierce, but divided, bound by clan feuds, revenge, and pride. If he could unite them, they could rule the world. Years passed. Temüjin gathered allies one by one, men who followed him not for blood, but for loyalty. He married Bert, his childhood betrothed, who became his partner in both family and politics. Her kidnapping by a rival tribe nearly broke him, but he fought to reclaim her, and in doing so, rallied warriors from across the steppes. In time, his reputation grew. He was not like the other chiefs. He rewarded merit, not lineage. He demanded discipline, not chaos. When he captured enemies, he offered them a choice: join him and follow his law, or be destroyed. Many chose wisely. His methods were harsh but just. He created a code called the Yassa, a law that applied equally to all, from the lowest soldier to the highest general. Theft was punished, betrayal unforgivable, and loyalty sacred. Under his rule, the steppe began to change. By the late 1190s, the Mongols, once fractured and weak, had become a force. Temüjin's leadership was transforming warriors into an army. He reorganized them into groups of tens, hundreds, and thousands, Xing clans. So no man fought only for family, they fought for the nation. And then, in the year 1206, after years of battle, victory, and diplomacy, the Mongol tribes gathered at the Ainen River. Thousands of warriors stood beneath the endless sky, as Temüjin was raised on a white felt carpet, a symbol of supreme authority. He was proclaimed Genghis Khan, meaning universal ruler. What followed was not just conquest, it was transformation. Genghis Khan looked beyond Mongolia. To the south lay the Xia and Jin dynasties of China, wealthy, powerful, and arrogant. They saw the steppe people as barbarians. He would prove them wrong. His armies rode like the wind, fast, disciplined, and merciless. Mongol horsemen could travel 70 miles a day, striking before the enemy even knew they were near. Their tactics were revolutionary: feigned retreats, ambushes, psychological warfare. They burned no village that surrendered, but destroyed those that resisted completely, not out of cruelty, but control. Fear became his most efficient weapon. City after city fell. The Mongols captured riches and technologies from every civilization they touched: siege engines, engineers, and ideas. Genghis absorbed knowledge as eagerly as territory. He welcomed scholars, craftsmen, and even priests of all faiths, believing wisdom was as valuable as gold. But for all his victories, the Khan never forgot the purpose behind them. To him, conquest was not destruction, it was unification. He believed he was destined to bring order to a divided world. His empire would be one where trade, communication, and law could thrive. He opened the Silk Road, protecting merchants and ensuring safe passage through lands that had once been torn by war. Messengers traveled across the empire with a system of relay stations, a network so efficient that messages could cross thousands of miles faster than any other. Civilization in the world, even his enemies came to respect him. A Persian chronicler once wrote, "He is the scourge of God, but also his instrument." Yet, the life of Genghis Khan was not only conquest and command, it was also marked by loss. His wife Bert remained his anchor through decades of war. His sons, though loyal in battle, often quarreled in ambition. The empire he built was vast, but holding it would demand more than one man's strength. By the time he turned 60, Genghis Khan had conquered more land than any ruler before or since, from the Pacific Ocean to the Caspian Sea, across deserts, mountains, and kingdoms. His army, once a handful of riders, had become an unstoppable tide. In 1227, while campaigning against the Western Shaya, he fell ill, some say from an injury, others from exhaustion. Knowing his time was near, he called his generals and sons. There was no palace, no throne, only a tent on the open plain. The wind that had followed him all his life blew softly outside as he spoke his final words. If you wish to be happy, make others happy. The greatest joy is to conquer oneself. When he died, his burial was kept secret. His men carried his body back to Mongolia, killing anyone who saw the procession to preserve the mystery. His grave was never found, and perhaps that is fitting. A man who belonged to the world could not rest in one place. After his death, his empire continued to expand under his descendants. His grandsons Kublai Khan and Hulagu Khan would rule lands stretching from China to Persia, building cities, palaces, and legacies that outlasted centuries. But the foundation of it all, the unity, the discipline, the vision, came from one man who had once been left to die on the frozen steppe. Historians have long debated who Genghis Khan truly was. To some, he was a conqueror drenched in blood. To others, a lawgiver, a builder of nations. The truth lies somewhere between. He was both. He destroyed, yes, but he also created order from chaos. He abolished torture, promoted religious freedom, and built one of the first international postal systems. He united warring tribes into a single identity, the Mongol nation, and forged connections between East and West that shaped the future of the world. Modern scholars estimate that his empire reduced borders, expanded trade, and increased communication between civilizations, setting the stage for the global world centuries later. His legacy still echoes through time, in language, genetics, politics, and the art of leadership itself. For Genghis Khan, power was never about thrones or crowns. It was about purpose, he once said. I am the punishment of God. If you had not committed great sins, God would not have sent a punishment like me upon you. But beneath that fearsome image was a man who understood something deeper, that greatness demands not only strength, but vision. He rose not because he was born noble, but because he refused to stay broken. He united men not by blood, but by belief, and in doing so he changed the course of human history. Today, 8 centuries after his death, his name still commands. His empire has vanished, his cities turned to dust, but his influence endures in the maps of nations, in the echoes of strategy, in the very idea that one person can remake the world through sheer will. From an abandoned boy to the master of half the earth, Genghis Khan remains one of history's greatest paradoxes, a man of violence who built peace through order, a conqueror who forged civilization. From conquest, a ruler who never wore a crown but left an empire that outlived empires. He began with nothing but a horse, a bow, and a dream, and ended as the universal ruler. The Mongol who conquered the world, Genghis Khan. A story not of conquest alone, but of vision, unity, and the relentless will to rise.